Big thanks go out to Taiwa for supporting today's video via Patreon. Edgar Markov versus the beloved Baral. We've got 2 lands, can produce all of our colours, so definitely keep on that one. And I think the best one to go for there is Knight of Ebon Legion. Holding priority, so they might have a force spike here or something, but decided to let it down. Not strip mining our mana confluence, thankfully. Now we could really hurt them with the Zealous Persecution here, which I think is probably a good idea, so let's attempt it. And they decide to block the tokens, so we go +1 on our stuff, -1 on their stuff. But they have a Force of Will, so managing to keep hold of their commander. They exiled another free counter magic in Pact of Negation, so yeah, there's still a few more free counter spells to go, unfortunately, because that's just what Wizards of the Coast keep trying to do. And then strip mining our land, so they go down to 1 themselves, drew into some lands with Chart of Course. We managed to get into another black mana regardless though, so let's go for the Stromkirk Condemned. Swinging at our opponent. Not losing enough life to get the plus counters, unfortunately. And they stay at 1 mana, surprisingly, 7 cards in hand. There is a Dusk Legion Zealot for us. We will draw a card with that, so let's see. Yeah, probably just best going for this first. Maybe that will help us make a decision. Alright, going for Censor onto that. They want to hold us off drawing any cards for as long as possible. And that, of course, will allow them to loot as well, so it gets them closer to a potential land. Can only do this once per turn, I think. Yeah, so we can't buff the token so much that it will get rid of Baral. The problem with playing an aggro deck like this... Alright, get into a swamp, that's really good. We can actually get rid of their Baral here. Yeah, the problem with playing an aggro deck like this is that they have 10 more life. We all have 10 or more life in this room because it's just the regular commander room. In the 1v1 room, the official 1v1 room, it's a different ban list. You start with 30 life, and Edgar Markov is banned. Yet another free counter spell, Jesus. Well, it keeps them off a land at least. Thought we were going to get rid of the Baral there. Silly me. Well, next turn at least we can go for Indulgent Aristocrat and start sacrificing the creatures that Baral blocks, most likely the tokens, and then start putting plus counters on all of our stuff. Oh, they have suspended an Ancestral Vision at some point, so that goes down by 1. Replaying that land, and no doubt they've got a million more free counter spells, and they're going to draw into them. Shadow Alley Denizen. Let's play the Indulgent Aristocrat, like I said. And there is the mana leak. Down to 5 cards in hand. Might as well go for the Shadow Alley Denizen now then. And once again blocking, only dealing 3 damage to them, unfortunately. Yeah, it's likely that they're going to outrace us here, I think. Getting into that second land eventually. There's another swamp for us, which isn't really of much use. Don't actually have all that many basics in the deck. I think we've only got about 4 or 5 basic swamps, and we've drawn into all of them. So we'll just head straight into them, hold back the Shadow Alley Denizen, and I'll activate this thing, I think. I wonder if it's worth activating the Stromkirk Condemned as well. Yeah, I'm going to get rid of the Legion Landing there. This will deal 10 damage to them, I think. They're at a point now where they're going to just counter whatever we play, so yeah, unless we can start getting some card advantage on them, then it's not going to pan out too well for us, I don't think. There is a Dig Through Time, so refilling their hand. Well, actually they only get 2 cards from this, don't they? But that'll take them up to 6, and then they'll draw their 7th next turn. And there we go, getting up to 5 mana just like that, thanks to the Mana Crypt and a land. May well be what they grab with the Dig Through Time. Actually forgot to play the land last turn, didn't I? They get a Wizard class, so they have no max hand size as it stands now. There's a Vampire Socialite going through to combat here, and our opponent does have a stop on us, so might have some means of bouncing creatures. Attacking with everything again, and they're probably, like I said, just going to counter this, but we'll go for the Vampire Socialite, try and have it come in with a plus counter on it. This is whenever an opponent has been dealt damage, and it does affect the vampire tokens as well, so I've got high hopes for it, but I doubt we're going to land it. Yep, there is a Dismiss. They counter a spell, draw a card, and then looting, get rid of a Myriad Landscape. we've got them down to 13. Let's go for a land. We're not going to get into the Malakir Blood Witch. It's probably best just discarding into this at this point. Going to draw 3 more cards from the Ancestral Vision being cast now. Although the Mana Crypt could be relevant here. They dodged the Lightning Bolt there, but we could still have them. Alright, there's a Mutavault. So that is another creature for us. We'll turn everything in sideways now because we are definitely going to discard with this thing. And they go for the Shadow Alley Denizen as we assume they would. See if they've got any bounce with those 7 cards. Discard the Malakir Blood Witch. Activate the Knight of Ebon Legion as well. And there we go. There is the Cyclonic Rift. Yeah, I'm assuming that that's going on the Knight. Oh, they actually could afford the Overload there, surprisingly. I didn't realise how much mana they had left up. So that's pretty much game, I imagine. We can go Mutavault and the Knight of Ebon Legion once again. Actually, if we go Shadow Alley Denizen, then it will get Intimidate, won't it? Yeah, let's actually go for the Denizen instead. And we've got half a chance of getting through to them. Didn't bother animating the Mutavault there because it would have had Summoning Sickness. They dodged the Bolt yet again in typical Baral fashion. And now it's a Crucible of Worlds, so they can make a land every turn, and of course it's Strict Mine, so yeah, probably going after the Mutavault there. Might go after our colours, they do. Alright, and Unclaimed Territory. We get all of our colours, a little bit too late for that though. So we'll go for the Knight of Ebon Legion here. Give the Shadow Alley Denizen Intimidate. And then they go for Exclude, countering that, so that means we can go for the Stromkirk Condemned. And they'll probably counter that as well, but we're forcing them to have it at least. So playing the Stromkirk Condemned, we will animate the Mutavault with the Edgar Markov on the stack, so that we can give that Intimidate with the Shadow Alley Denizen. And then we don't have any more cards to discard to the Stromkirk Noble, unfortunately. We can give the token Intimidate as well, so everything's getting through here, hopefully. And that's pretty much us spent. We might be able to go wide on them if we can have the Stromkirk Condemned stay in play. I'm surprised they didn't counter that. Watch them dodge another Bolt from the Mana Crypt. There we go. So they've dodged 3 in a row there. We could have had them dead if they weren't so lucky with that. Yep, there goes the Mutavault to the Strip Mine. They're just going to do that every turn now. Wind Rider Wizard into play. Oh wow, there's a Skull Clamp. If only we could land a Skull Clamp. Well, I think a better thing to do is try and go wide on them here, because there's no way in hell that we get a Skull Clamp past them. So blocking the tokens, unusually, yeah, I would have thought you'd want to go for that. In an attempt to get rid of it, they force us to discard here. Stromkirk Condemned doing some work here. Alright, so what have we got now? A Snap Mage. Blockers are already declared. They cast a Wizard, so they get to loot, discarding an island. So they probably just go for Cyclonic Rift and bounce something here. Yeah, going for the Cyclonic Rift, which will just be an unsummon. We can at least recast whatever it is that they bounce here, bouncing one of the tokens, alright. So we're still going to hit them for 5 damage. We get rid of one of their wizards as well, so that is less looting for them. And we've got them down to 4. 2 lightning bolts from the Mana Crypt will do it, but they're not going to take any, I'll bet. Oh, there we go, knock them down to 1. Can we go wide on them? A Welcoming Vampire. We're getting into the card draw at least, but it's not going to be of much use to us. 5 cards left in their hand, so 1 more bounce spell is what they need here, as well as dodging the Mana Crypt Bolt again. And here we go, some mass bounce, I dare say. That is a Capsize, so bouncing a token. And they go for... yeah, we might as well buff the Stromkirk Condemned here so that we can have it survive against the Snap Mage. Discard the Welcoming Vampire, unfortunately. Also, both creatures are going to survive there because Baral only has 1 power. There's always a chance that they can bounce their own Mana Crypt, of course, in blue. Maybe sacrifice it to tutor for another artifact. Wouldn't have thought they'd want to do that in Baral. So, moment of truth. Alright, managed to get them, so that is due to the Lightning Bolt from the Mana Crypt, of course, takes them down to -2. And yeah, what was I saying? The problem with this room and your opponents having 10 more life is that it really plays into the hands of control players and takes away from aggro players. Without that Mana Crypt helping us out, there's no way we would have got them there. Oh my god, what a bitch. Getting messaged after the fact here. You know, control players and Baral players in particular, the tryhards that strip mine you over and over again, have a particular reputation for being spiky tryhard players that get salty every time they lose. Well, this guy's certainly playing into that cliche, isn't he? I think every single thing was against us in that game, so yeah, might have been lucky, but we won fair and square, I'm afraid. Give us a thumbs up on this video if you enjoy crushing the dreams of the Dream Crusher. Consider donating on Patreon as well if you enjoy these videos. Massive thank you to those of you who do that already. It doesn't go unnoticed. I'm tribalkai. Thank you for watching.